Good. My name is Matthew DeBord, and I'm going to be giving you a speech today on around the world and my daughter's kind of influence in that. As you see, I am very kind of have a lot of tattoos, and I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about the main one here that you see on my arm today, which is my daughter and her references around the world. So she was born in Okinawa, Japan, overseas. So I have the rising sun of traditional Japanese rising sun here on my elbow. And then her name, Madeleine Sophie, is a very French name, which goes back to my heritage many, many generations ago. Starting in Paris, France, and actually my grandma traced back our ancestry to someone that actually came over on the Mayflower. That was a descendant of the Mayflower. And so we were able to trace back most of our ancestry on my mother's side to our actual descendant that came over on the Mayflower ship itself. So along that route, she went from California, then moved with me with MSG duty, which I kind of talked to you a little bit about before, which stands for Marine Security Guard. And she moved with me to Johannesburg, South America. So I was there in Johannesburg, South America for a year, did guard for a year there. So we stand guard, and kind of our duties there are to protect the ambassadors for that, not only for that country, but also for like American citizens that come over there, and if there's any sort of rioting or anything like that that come about in that country, we're there to kind of help protect the American citizens that come and travel there. And then from there, actually got to go to Paris, France, where my ancestors were born and raised. I absolutely loved it there. Why I have the Eiffel Tower here on my arm, so I definitely identify as a Parisian, Paris, a native, very much so. My actual last name is very French, which is DeBord, which actually means like a carpenter. So then from Paris, we moved to somewhere in the world. No, Germany. That's right. The last place I went to was Germany, and actually got to go see where the Berlin Wall was, or West and East Berlin Wall was, and was there for a year again, and then we moved back to Japan, and while we were there, I took my daughter on a vacation to Vietnam, and actually got to see lots of the war remnants. And one of the most interesting places that that our tour group was the first Americans allowed to go to, was kind of the propaganda side of the Vietnam's take on the Vietnam War. So it was a museum kind of based on like their whole spiel on how the effects of Agent Orange hurt their, not only community, citizenship, everything on their side of it. As you know, there's a lot of still the Vietnam era veterans of America still suffer from like Agent Orange poisoning and stuff like that. But being there in actually Vietnam, I got to see that like their take on their kind of propaganda and see how they saw the Vietnam War. So yeah, and continue on up my arm it's every single state of the United States. It's typically one of the most asked tattoos I get asked about, just because of they kind of see the last few states, and they're like, is every single state there on my arm? And I was like, yes, every single state is there on my arm. No, I don't have the territories as of yet. Once they become states, then I might actually put them on. But until then, they are still null and void in my mind. So, and I put that in reference to my military service. So it's above it says, "Land of the free, home of the brave." So it goes into my deep roots of Christianity and military service. So we here stand our ground in order to make sure everyone here in the United States has the capability of free speech. It's like here, we can get up in front of you and have free speeches and talk about whatever we want. It's all because of military personnel. I'm here today to be able to talk to you freely about whatever I want. So